Please, roll call, Cassandra.
Legislator Hathaway.
I'm here.
Legislator Burkhardt. Here. Legislator Mosier. Here. Legislator Gilbert.
Here.
Legislator Chartrand.
Here.
Legislator Moorhan.
Here.
Legislator Leviker.
Here.
Legislator Osborne.
Here.
Legislator Mellenbeck.
Here.
And Legislator Dolhoff.
Here. Would everyone please stand for the invocation and pledge, and Legislator Hathaway, would you lead us in the invocation, please?
Father, as always, we thank you for the blessings you bestow upon us. We need them and we appreciate them. And I wish you would look down on those in our county in need and help us to help them with their needs. Please be with the caregivers, the medical staff, the family, the friends, the county people that come to work every day, and those in the outside agencies that come to work every day to help their fellow citizens. Please protect them, help them continue doing the good work they do, and let them know they're appreciated. And Lord, in respect to her birthday yesterday, I wish you would please help our country to come together again, like we started and we still should be. One nation under God. Thank you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Board of Legislators today recognizes members of the Nashville Lewis staff, the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, and the county's Planning and Community Development Director for their exceptional work the past few years in bringing to fruition many of this board's financial investments and visions pertaining to economic development, including the investments to beautify our downtown areas and hamlets for residents and visitors alike. We have with us tonight Brittany Davis and Cheyenne Styria, the Executive Director and the Director of Finance and Incentives, respectively, for Naturally Lewis and the Lewis County IDA, Crystal Auditor, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce and Coordinator of the Lewis County Leadership Academy, and Cassandra Buell, the Director of Planning and Community Development for Lewis County. This group of professionals has done a tremendous job working as a team over the last few years to bring great programs, marketing strategies, and financial resources and opportunities to Lewis County businesses, entrepreneurs, visitors, and property owners. A sampling of these great programs include the Facade and Streetscape Improvement Program, the Home-Based Child Care Training Program, the Launch Lewis County Microenterprise Grant Program, the Vacant Property Revitalization Program. Their hard work and dedication to make these and other programs come to life are making a difference in our communities and for the betterment of all our residents. Our downtowns look more vibrant and inviting. Properties that have long been left in disrepair are being fixed up. Our residents have more child care options, and development of large old structures such as the Glenfield School and Lions Falls School are on their way to being back on the tax rolls for appropriate and repurposed uses. This group has also assisted the county and will continue to assist the county in the public and recreational uses of the rail corridors. 3 of these ladies are awardees on the Northern New York's 20 under 40 business leaders. In addition, Brittany was recently recognized as a rising star by the New York State Economic Development Council. This award is given annually to an individual under the age of 40 who has made significant contribution to the economic development profession. Congratulations, Brittany. Well deserved. The team of Kristen, Cheyenne, Cassie, and Brittany, with the help of their respective staffs, is doing exceptional work to benefit Lewis County and its citizens. The board would like to take this public moment to recognize all four of you and to thank you for implementing our visions for a better Lewis County. We appreciate each of you and are proud of your accomplishments. Keep up the good work.
One of you blushing back there.
Perfect.
You covering Kristen? Covering Kristen. That's good. Very nice.
Thank you. This should be your words, Cheyenne. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Cass.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
you are welcome. You want to take that?
Next on the list is approve the June 6th board meeting minutes. If there are no amendments, they stand approved. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee for Rule 6. Cassandra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee has met, and they recommend to waive rules to act upon late resolutions.
Need a motion? Lisa, second by Jessica. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We have two public hearings tonight on unsafe structures. The first one is property located at 7091 West Main Street, Fort Lyden. The owner is Green Chip Investors LLC, William Martin. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this one?
Mr. Martin did call the office maybe 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Did call the office about 10 minutes ago, said he would be at least 40 minutes late, and he requested a 45-day extension. So I asked, was this going to mean in 45 days the building will be down? So that's what I have for you.
So he's requesting 40 minutes, he's going to be 40 minutes late.
That's what he was estimating.
Okay, so we'll leave this one open for 45 minutes, just to cover that base. The second one is unsafe structure hearing, property 6551, number 4 Road, Watson. Where Mathis, is there anyone here that would like to speak on that?
Mr. Chairman, if I can just have the code department officers who worked on that just step forward, and I will put something on the record. I suppose we'll keep it open for 30 minutes for Mr. Mathis to appear, but at least the board will have the county's position on this property. For the board, David Brown from our codes department, along with Ward Daly, both worked on the enforcement matter for this property. You have before the board, and we would enter it as an exhibit, as exhibits to the board, local law number 2-2007, which is the county's unsafe structure law. You have the notice of this hearing and the documents that were personally served upon Mr. Mathis. Resolution 96-2023, 2023, which set this hearing for tonight at 5 p.m. I would note that both code officers have had communication with Mr. Mathis, who indicated to them that he had received the papers. Is that correct, Mr.
That
Daly?
is correct.
We have the affidavit of personal service in the file, and you have those papers as well. We have as Exhibit E, the August 2021 original letter to the owner of the unsafe property. You have the code officer's reports to the board from 2021 and 2022, and you have pictures from 2021, albeit a little bit hard to see in black and white, but they're there in your packet of exhibits on this structure. Mr. Daly, if you could just tell us what, if any, the status of the property is.
Mr. Mathis came in the office, did obtain a demolition permit, and is in the process of taking the building down. Last conversation, which was 2 weeks ago, he indicated he's waiting on National Grid to get an electrical disconnect before he proceeds.
Did you look at the property today?
I drove by it this morning.
Can you tell us what was there?
The structure itself is still standing, all the windows are out of it. From the road, it appears it's been gutted, everything's out of it. He has a dump trailer there, and it's loaded. It looks like its intent is to take the building down.
And did Mr. Mathis have any conversation with you about what his intent is for the property after he removes the
He
structure?
plans on rebuilding another structure in the same location.
And does that require a permit?
It would.
Have you advised him of that?
He was advised. Yeah.
Knowing what the condition and the state of potential demolition is at this point, what is your recommendation to the board, knowing that they have before them tonight a resolution to direct Mr. Mathis to demolish and properly remove this structure by August 31st of 2023?
I can't guarantee you it'll be done by August 21st. That would be the only issue. But I do believe his intent is to take that building down.
Are you saying it's not possible to demolish it by August 31st?
It's one person, he appears more to be disassembling. He's taking the boards off, he's piling them, he's not going in with a D6, knocking it down.
He's doing the work himself, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What is your recommendation to the board, knowing that this property has been in disrepair and in unsafe structure since 2021?
In 2021, I would actually recommend some time letting, he has a permit, letting him take it down.
In addition to the 2 years he's already had.
But 2 years ago, he didn't have a permit, to do it. So the permit's recently given, and our permits are valid for a period of 3 years, set by the legislators, not by this department.
Was the permit applied for?
No. It would be up to the,
I would think we would stick with the August 31st and address it at that point. If it looks like he's moving forward with a steady progress. That's one thing, but I don't see any logic in changing the date at this point.
And I don't think, Mr. Brown, that you were involved with this property, right? You were involved with the other one? Okay. Anything else, Mr. Daly, that you can tell the board as to the status of the property and the condition?
at this time, the building is being taken down. It needs to be taken down.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest then that we just hold this open, see if Mr. Mathis appears in the next 20 minutes, and even if he has anything else to add. Otherwise, the board will act on the resolution that's in the packet, unless there's further discussion.
Any questions from anyone? Thanks, guys.
We'll hold on the other one now and give Mr. Martin time to appear.
Okay, we'll leave those open for 30 minutes, tonight, 5 minutes respectively. We'll move on to privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here that would like privilege of the floor for any comments they might have? Seeing no hands, we'll move on to clerk of the board reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3 resolutions were received from Orleans County. The first is supporting Essential Caregivers Act to protect humane visitation policies at long-term care facilities. Decree lack of transparency and impact analysis and renewal of compact with Seneca Nation. And urging the governor to veto Assembly Bill 04282B and Senate Bill 3505B, which is to move certain local elections to even numbered years. Sealer of Weights and Measures Brian Mooney submitted the May Summary of Field Service Report, which has been placed on file. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Standing committee reports. We'll start with Finance and Rules, Legislator Osborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a little bit of an update on Workers' Compensation Department has started working on the 2024 budget assessments for all the participating entities. In line with the past, the assessment is comprised of 20% property valuation, 30% payroll, and 50% loss experience over the period of 2020, 2021, and 2022. The goal is to keep the budget stable and use a self-insurance fund balance to settle our claims. The agreement with NCA Comp, our third-party administrator, was renewed back in March, and they continue to be an invaluable asset with claims. And that's my report.
Any questions for Tom? Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
General Services Committee, Legislator Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to report on some recent changes to the training requirements of new probation officers. The state has mandated that they undergo the basic course for police officers. In the past, they were only required to attend peace officer training and fundamentals of probation practice for 3 weeks in Albany. The new course will require 9 weeks of training, which will be a significant expense increase. This is just another example of a needless, unfunded mandate imposed on counties. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Ian? Thank you, Ian. Health and Human Services Committee,
Thank you, Mr.
Legislator
Chairman.
Burkler.
Zoe Lehman is going to be this summer intern for public health, and she's working on death certificate, communicable disease, and chronic disease data analysis. She has been studying forensic anthropology with a minor in public health and has joined us to learn more about epidemiology. Also, the outreach season is picking up, and public health recently participated in Farm Safety Day and educated about 270 children on ticks and Lyme disease, as well as poison prevention. And that's all I have.
Questions for Lisa? Thank you. And the board's rep on Hospital Board of Managers, Legislator Chartrand.
Thank you, Chairman. We recognize Christina Boucher, respiratory therapist, as the March Employee of the Month. And we had a proclamation from Mrs. Michelle Wertler, HIM coder, who will retire from the health system July 8, 2023. To see either of these people, congratulate them on the wonderful work they're doing. Mrs. Wertler was certified as tumor registered for credentialed in 2011. This is a great accomplishment for her and the health system. We wish her a happy and healthy retirement, enjoy her time with her husband, traveling and volunteering. We already have a trip planned for Alaska. Sounds great. Finance, we had a year-to-date loss of $590 versus a budgeted loss of $764. Inpatient revenue was higher due to MRI and ultrasound. Outpatient gross revenue was higher in the ER, chemistry, hematology, radiology, ultrasound, CAT scan. Other operation revenue was over budget due to our 340B revenue at Kenny's and Walmart. That's to do with prescription money that comes back to us. The skilled nursing facility occupancy was its highest in 2.5 years. Women's health is highest in the last 1.5 years. Our salaries were under budget due to fewer staff members than budgeted. Our supplies were over budget due to more lab reagents. And our purchase services was high due to traveling nurses. Mr. Musnacki shared the update on the construction. Everyone continues to work hard towards the goal of completing the surgical addition. Several contractors are now working extra hours and Saturdays to meet their obligations of completion. The additional rock removal portion of the project has been completed. That concludes my report, barring any questions.
Any questions for Dick? So, Mr. Mathis, we have a open comment period for an unsafe structure at 6551 number 4 Road, Watson. Can you hear me okay?
Got to speak up there, bud.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have hearing aids.
So you are Mr. Mathis,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We are at a public hearing. This is the open comment period for unsafe structure at 6551 number 4 Road, Watson, which I believe you won't.
Go ahead.
Would you like to make any comments?
I'm in the process of tearing it down right now. Holding me up is 911 hooking the one power lines. I
Okay.
called them 3 times and the last time I called them, they said, the work order's in when they get to it. And I said, well, the DA's on my ass. And they said, they don't make no difference to DA, but tell us what to do with it. So I'm waiting on them. I can't do anything.
Okay.
I got a guy coming to tear it down, but I'm not gonna pay him to sit there. Waiting for 911. So the minute the power lines and the cables removed, I can start tearing it down.
So we've established a date of August 31st for you to accomplish that.
Well, I got a permit, building permit, I paid $30 for a construction permit, it gives me 3 years. That's not legal. I got that off the building code officer here.
Yes, that's true, Mr. Mathis, but the structure has been in an unsafe condition since
You gotta
2021.
speak up.
The structure's been unsafe since 2021, and you've had notice of its condition since 2021. The permit,
I started tearing it down last year.
you did you have a permit?
Huh?
Did you have a
Oh, I
permit
didn't know
last
I
year?
didn't know I had to have a permit to tear it down.
Okay, so what did you do last year to remedy it? What did you do last year?
Last year,
Yeah,
I started taking this stuff out of the inside.
okay. And so now
The
you,
furnace, or the building man, the building code enforcement officer said that the only thing that'll be left in that building is wood.
okay, so is it now, is
There'll
it,
be no wire, no plumbing, no furnace, no showers, no.
so what's the status of the inside of the structure now?
Nothing in there right now. It's all
You've
door.
removed everything
All
from
there
the
is is
inside?
4 walls.
Okay. What about the outside? Have you cleaned up any of it?
Have I what?
The outside, have you cleaned up any of the debris around the house?
Yeah, it took me
Okay.
2 weeks to cut the brush around it.
Okay,
And
So what are your next steps?
Andrea here goes by, so she probably noticed it.
did notice.
what are the next steps you're taking,
I'm waiting for
aside
the-
from waiting for,
I'm waiting
911?
for the utilities to take the power off the house.
Okay, is there anything else Is there anything else you can do further to move along the removal of the structure?
Standing there with my finger in my ass, I guess. I don't know. There's nothing else I can do until I get a trifle down there to tear it down.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask codes to step up here again, Mr. Daly.
Pardon me?
I'm speaking to Mr. Daly for a second.
You good?
How you doing there?
Good.
Is there anything further, Mr. Daly, that can be done towards the demolition of the structure?
Really, until the power's out, you can't take it down.
Is there anything that codes can do to contact NIMO to move it forward?
I can make that call, but I don't know if we're going further.
Work order's in. I called the lady 3 times.
Would you make that call?
I will make it, but he already has a work order, so
The
they're not.
work
gonna
order's
issue
in,
two.
but when they get to it, and they said they have a heavy workload, that's what the lady told me.
After the power's off, how long do you think it'll take to demo the building?
Not long,
A week or two or something
Yeah.
like that?
less than that.
Okay.
Depends on the weather, you know.
Okay.
I got a dump trailer down there, I'm all set to take it down, but if they don't remove the power, and they said I can't take it down myself, it's against the law.
Right.
And the same way with the cable. The cable ain't not, no power to it, so you could take that down. But there's power to the house yet, because the transformer feeds the house across the road. So they only got the breakers up there, it cuts the power off to that one transformer. So when they throw the switches, it'll cut power off to both houses if you ever noticed. I don't work for NIMO, but I see this.
Maybe you should.
I know I might get it done faster.
That's what I was thinking. Well, it would seem like August 31st is quite a bit of time,
Remember that thing.
if it's only gonna take a few days.
Right.
Again, with
So-
grid.
Yeah, we've established a date of August 31st for the demolition to be completed. Are you,
What if
is that,
they take the dog and don't take the power off until August?
well, if we get to August 31st and that hasn't happened in a timely manner, then we'll address
Back
it
over and
then.
say the power's still hooked up?
What's that?
Drive back over here and tell you the power's still hooked to it August 1st and I can't tear it down yet?
May I suggest,
August
somebody drive
31st,
by and
August
see.
31st.
Yeah,
So it's
August
about
31st,
60
if the power's
days
still
from
on.
now. If they got a work order in, it would seem like, and it only takes, you already have stated that it's gonna take you a week to 2 weeks to tear it down. I would think that if they have a work order in, that they should be able to disconnect the power within a couple week, 3-week window, which
Yeah,
gives
I'm
you
hopeful.
adequate time to
Couple of
finish
weeks.
the process.
So the longer they take, that's a shorter amount of time I get to tear it down.
Well,
So
you've
why don't we
already said
start
you
when
only
the
need a
power's
week.
disconnected and then I'll start working on it.
Okay,
And give me that amount of time that you're giving me now after the power's disconnected. How's that?
you said it took a week to 2 weeks after the power is disconnected, so we'll see.
No, you're giving me from the day until August 31st, which is a month and a half.
You are the one that
If I don't
told
want the power
us.
until August 1st, that only gives me 4 weeks instead of 6 weeks.
You just said it would take you less than 2 weeks to tear it down, once the power was gone.
That's what I'm anticipating.
So we're thinking that August 31st should be adequate.
Which is 60 days.
I should be, bust my ass. Yes.
And you will try to contact grid?
I'll reach out tomorrow.
He drives by, don't you drive by my place? Yeah, Andrew drives by, a whole bunch of people drive by, but they probably know the same.
I'll call him. And if I could get that work number from you, that'll make things faster. But okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, well, it cost me my $200 or $300 just to come here. I get $500 an hour. When I send the bill to her. County? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nancy.
Thanks.
All right, project managers report. Nick, Jim, Carito, would you brief us on our projects, please?
I'd like to thank the board and Ryan for the opportunity to report on the capital project. We've added another employee. This is my youngest son, Anthony. He graduated this year from Laval Academy and he plans to study civil engineering at Syracuse University. And we felt this would be an excellent opportunity for him to have some boots on the ground experience. So if you see him running around the site, you know who he is and he's working for us and make sure he has his Ultra 10 card. He's ready to go. So I'm gonna follow in his brother's footsteps. We happen to have Mr. Berkler's swim coach, so he does know one of the folks here tonight. Back to the capital project. We are behind schedule at the EMB. And the issue with that is the casework, and Nicholas will follow up on that. And we met our first main objective is finishing the DSS building. We had an excellent ribbon cutting ceremony. For those of you who had the opportunity to attend, looks very good. And I was happy to see a lot of the old retirees walk the building and complimented how nice it is. It was very positive that they showed up. And the only thing we're waiting for on that particular building is for the architect to issue the certificate of substantial completion. That document is very important because that's what signifies when the warranty period starts. So now that they've occupied the building, we'll get with the architect and get that document in, and then contractors can start to submit their warranties. Are there any questions?
Like Jim said, the DSS and the maintenance garage are completed. A little bit of paving to do up there around the patio and in the record storage and maintenance buildings. Those projects will be done. Down the DMV, waiting for the casework to arrive. I haven't got a complete firm date yet, but hopefully sometime next month. While they're waiting for that, we're doing outside work, sidewalks, getting all that ready so that when the casework's here, they can open right up and all the sidewalks will be done. Go down to the highway garage site. That highway garage building is moving right along. Inside it's all framed up. Just from what we're on, they've started taping today, and they've got all the aprons poured, and hopefully before the end of the month they'll start paving down there, and that'll really change the site down there big time once paving starts. So that's hopefully before the end of the month. It's on the books before the end of the month. So that'll really change down there, and cold storage and wash bay buildings are basically done. Just waiting on final power once grid drops or transformer. Any questions?
Thanks, guys. County manager report, Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Jim noted, we had a great ceremony with ribbon cutting at DSS, and now our staff is beginning to move in. So today was the first day of 3 days of moving from Glenfield down to DSS. Jenny, just like she did last time, has sent out a summer email at the end of every day of the move. And what she said today is all the files that are going to be put in the basement have been moved. And the second floor folks have been moved, which I think for them, not a moment too soon, since it was a little toasty up there. So I think by Friday the 7th, we should be fully moved into our new home and open for business on Stowe Street. The final thing I wanted to remind the board is that the NISAC Fall Conference this year is going to be in Turning Stone, right in Oneida County. So it's about as close as we're going to get for an NISAC conference. So we do put money in the budget every year for legislator training and travel. And so if anyone is interested in attending that, even just for the day to run down and check out some of the workshops, let us know and we'll get you booked and set up for that. As you know, I very much enjoy the time at NISAC, and the legislators throughout the years that have gone usually have a couple couple takeaways that I think are valuable. So that's going to be closed this fall. So it's September 13th through the 15th. That's all for my report.
Any questions for Ryan?
Very good.
You didn't give Phil time to think up questions. We'll move on to the treasurer report here, if you would please.
Thank you. You have my written report. I'll just hit a couple of highlights. We've been trending relatively close this year on our sales tax questions to 2022, and that continues. We saw some emails from other treasurers in New York State over the last day or so, and it's kind of been a mixed results across the state. So us remaining level from last year, I think is a good sign, and hopefully we'll stay in that position for the rest of the year. We do continue to keep an eye on our health insurance fund balance. That has been a situation that has not really gone the direction we would like, so we'll continue to monitor that. We do have a meeting with our consultant tomorrow, so that'll be a topic of discussion with the consulting firm. And on the back of your report is an update on our contingency funds for 2023. They are in good shape at this point. You do have a resolution today to fund some money into the contingency, which is in essence for the EMS programs that we approved a month or so ago. So with that funding into the contingency funds, we hopefully will make it through the rest of the year with the levels that we have in place. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Questions for Eric? So we're moving on to consent resolutions, and we have identified we need to pull individual resolution number 117 and number 124.
Mr. Chairman, I
Also
need to do the
going to-
report of the finance rules.
Did I miss one? Sorry. Okay,
The Finance and Rules Committee reports that they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $3,437,845.15 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
need a motion, please. Bill, second by Josh. Discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed? And that carries. So we will now move on to consent resolutions. We're going to pull 117, 124,
118,
118, and 120 and 121. Anyone else have any that they would like forward? If not, someone would make a motion to pass the consent resolutions. Lisa, second by Jessica. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. So we are going to take looks like a 15-minute recess before we can move on to pass the rest of the resolutions. So we are recessed until 5 to 6. Okay, it's 5:05, we are back in session, and we have an open public hearing on unsafe structure on property 7091 West Main Street, Port Leiden. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, if I can report on behalf of the county on this, I would ask Ward Daly to step up again as the code enforcement officer. And I just note for the record that Mr. William Martin, the manager of Green Chip Investors LLC, the owner of the property, does not appear to be here yet. And I see David Brown, one of our code enforcement officers, came back in. I'm going to ask him to step up in case the board has any questions for them as well. Before the board, you have exhibits pertaining to this property, local Exhibit A, Local Law 2-2007. B, notice of the hearing documents with affidavit of email service on Green Chip and William Martin sent to two email addresses that Mr. Martin provided both to myself directly and to the code enforcement officers. Excuse me. He did not provide us with any address for mailing within the county. We also sent it to a P.O. box that he represented still is functioning, and that was mailed to him at that address as well. You have Resolution 95, 2023, which set the public hearing for tonight at 5 p.m. Mr. Martin received those documents as well. In addition, Exhibit D is the affidavit of posting that Mr. Brown did on the property itself to give him notice of the hearing. Exhibit E are the condemnation letters and notice to the owner with pictures from 2021 and the code reports thereafter to the Board of Legislators. And I would ask Connor to place on the screen the updated pictures of this property, which is right off of Route 12, so you can see that the the property condition has deteriorated even further since that 2021. And I'm going to ask Mr. Brown to just speak to the board and explain what we're viewing.
Yeah, so right now you're looking at the east side of the building facing Route 12. This building has been negligent to repairs for an extended number of years. Most of the windows have been broken out. I believe the roof is also leaking. There are some other pictures this shows.
Can you tell us what this is here?
Correct, that's the bulge in the wall right there. So what's happened is rain, snow, and ice, etc., you know how that works. Melts down, freezes, expands, pushes things out. So in a year's time, I would say that's probably doubled in size in the bulge.
Since 2021, when you first saw it, is that correct?
Correct.
Can we go to the next picture?
Your black and white pictures do not show the bulge that well.
Is this another look at the bulge
That's it right there.
in the brick?
Yeah.
From a different angle? And that's of May of 2023, is that correct?
That's correct.
Next picture?
So this is the front facade, which was repaired years and years and years ago. That was also brick, I do believe, and as you can see, there's the brick corbel at the top. Some of the wood and stuff is starting to fall. The street is directly
You mean
below
right
that.
up here?
That's correct. All right.
That's all fallen off.
Well, no, I can't say the brick is falling off,
But the wood is.
the wood is. And again, the lower picture of that front, you'll see in some other ones, the steps and everything are all rotted out.
So that's not in that picture. Let's move on
Right.
to the next picture so you can talk about that. Where is this?
So that's the front, right on West Main Street, facing the road.
And that's a step
Yeah,
entrance
steps.
into the building, one of the entrances
Boarded
into
off.
the building? Okay. Next picture, please.
Just looking down the west side of the building, at one time, metal siding was put on. Over the years, it's just came loose, it's been blown off, there's a pile of it in the back. More threat of,
Down here
if we have a high
is the
windstorm or
siding
something
that came down?
correct.
And this was all up on this part of the
Yes, and that-
structure?
the whole thing was metal and you know, it's just coming off.
Next picture.
That's the base of it there showing, you know, where it's pulled away from the building.
Any more?
Yeah, there's one.
There's some of the siding
Yeah, that's
that came
some of
off
the
of that
Right.
part of the building, correct?
Yep.
And again, the
There.
deterioration you can
There's no
see in
nails
the
or anything holding
foundation and the siding coming off, right?
David, these are all from May, is that correct?
These are the latest from May, right? Broken windows. So it's, you know, birds and whatever else.
Is that the rear of the building?
That's the rear of the building. So that was torn off a while ago, that one of the other code enforcement made it apparent that it had to come down because it was in such bad shape. But nothing's been done to it. since
And
they
that's
tore
the
that off.
condition of the foundation as well?
Yeah, that's pictures of some of the foundation work, yeah.
There must be a lot of varmints in there.
Well, it's right in the middle of Fort Lyden too, so there's not a lot of things in there, I don't think. I haven't even seen pigeons around, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Was that it?
Something more.
I think that's,
just more of the
Yeah.
same foundation.
and all overgrown
That's the
around
last
there.
one. That's the last one.
Okay, that's it on the pictures. So, Mr. Brown and Mr. Ward, is it your opinion that this building remains in a very unfit and dangerous condition?
At the time it is.
And is your previous recommendations to the board was to have it demolished and properly removed? Is that still your position?
Unless he wants to do it himself, yeah, or make repairs.
Have you had personal contact with him?
Other than phone conversations, no, I've never met him.
But he's fully aware of,
Yeah, he was gonna come to the meeting tonight, or is on his way to the meeting tonight. He left a phone message at 3:30, said that he'd be 20 minutes late. It's now past that time. I tried to call him at the break, goes directly to voicemail.
He did indicate to me, he had an engineer look at it, and the engineer said there's problems. Yeah.
I hope he didn't pay for that.
yeah, $500 no.
For the record, I also want to put on the record that I had conversation with Mr. Morton on May 8th, 2023, to discuss with him the condition of the building. At that time, he told me he was getting an engineer. I advised him to get in touch with codes because there are certain steps that anyone would have to follow in order to demolish or to assess the building. He then confirmed his PO box of 205 Fort Lyden, New York, where we sent papers. He also confirmed his 2 email addresses to which we sent notice of this hearing as well. On June 20th, I spoke with him again, talked about what the demolition process entails. He requested a list of contractors, and I told him at that time, I would relay that information to the codes department and told him to call codes, but I asked codes to then follow up with him as well, which I believe they did. He was sent paperwork giving him a list of contractors that generally in Lewis County work on demolition buildings. This morning, I again called him. Mr. Brown was in my office at the time. I left a voicemail message for Mr. Martin. He did call me back subsequently, reminded him of the hearing tonight. He again confirmed that he knew of the hearing. I asked him what his intentions were. He said he had a engineer look at the property and said that it wasn't worth it. I went through with him what the process would be for the county if the board was to determine that the board should take on the responsibility of demolishing this structure, and the additional cost would be for the county to do it, that would go on his tax bill. And quite honestly, I said to him, you will walk away from this property because your corporation, there's a corporation that owns it, and that is not fair to Lewis County taxpayers who are going to fit the bill for you ignoring this property that you bought, for whatever intentions. So, that is my concern, but we can't let this building remain, in my opinion. I think it's dangerous, I think it's, not good for that community and certainly not for Lewis County. And if he doesn't take any action, you have a resolution in the packet today to give him to August 30th to demolish the structure. My recommendation to the board is that you abide by that term.
Just out of curiosity, are the taxes paid?
They are.
I could add one thing, the clerk of the village of Fort Lyden sent an email to me, thanking us for taking action and urging the board to adopt on behalf of Mayor Smith. So the village is behind our efforts.
Anything further that you wanted to tell the board about the property?
He just, that his request was for 45 days to find the best bid to tear it down.
Well, he can take that action. He doesn't need our permission.
And we're giving them until the end of August.
Yeah.
That's 45 days.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay, any other comments on this unsafe structure hearing? If not, we will close the public hearing.
Thanks.
And move on back to individual resolutions, number 117.
Resolution number 117-2023 is auditing and allowing claims in the amount of $3,437,845.15.
Motion, please, Lisa, second by Bill. Thank you, Bill. Any discussion?
I have to recuse myself from anything that I approved or reviewed on behalf of the county council.
Duly noted. Any other discussion? If not, this is roll call.
Legislator Berkler,
Yes.
Legislator Chartrand,
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Ludiker,
Yes.
Legislator Moorhan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Hathaway,
Yes.
Legislator Mosher,
Yes.
and Legislator Dolhoff.
Yes. 118.
This is a resolution authorizing professional architectural and engineering design and cost estimates for reorganization and use of county's courthouse offices and space.
Moved by Tom, second by Ian. Discussion. All in favor?
So just to clarify, we did not bring this through committee, and that's really entirely my fault. We got a lot on our plate in that particular committee meeting, general services, we had a lot going on, and I missed it. Next year, we had scheduled in our capital budget, an HVAC update for this building. We had problems in this building, with heat pumps, and we have problems where they have put up walls in the past, dividing up rooms, that one room might have the intake and one room might have the air, the heat, for example. So this building is kind of the last piece of the puzzle, but before we spend all that money, fixing our HVAC, we want to make sure that we've got our department settled in appropriate places. We have veterans is going to be moving out of here. We've had highway and solid waste have moved out, and recreation, forestry, and parks are moving out. So the goal here is to try to avoid the same mistakes that have been made in the past of shifting people around and then spending, $500,000 on HVAC when we just end up putting new walls and dividing it up again without being wise about our space. So The reason that we contacted Bernier Carr, BCA, is because they've traditionally been our engineers that have worked on the courthouse in the past. And so they've got a lot of the blueprints. If anybody wants to meet with them or talking about the proposal, we can do that. We can have them come into the General Services Committee as well.
And this is very timely, and Ryan, you and I discussed this. I have a friend who does heat pump installations, and he said that there's gonna be an incredible amount of federal money coming down pretty soon to do, I don't know what you call it, like greenification of heating systems in large buildings like this. Maybe some of it would qualify, maybe some of it wouldn't, but it's a good idea to do it now and just be aware of possible federal aid we can get for updating our heating systems and air conditioning too.
Yeah, we asked them to include that in the proposal kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw you can look at green energy options.
An exploration of federal money that could be available. Our boilers in this building aren't ready to be replaced. They could go another 10, 12 years. But the HVAC, the distribution system is in not good shape. So kind of figuring out how that's all gonna work out. And maybe if there is huge incentives, it might be worth it to do a bigger project, so.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Show Phil opposed, and the motion carries.
Number 120 is a resolution directing demolition, removal, and site cleanup of an unsafe building pursuant to local law number 2-2007. This is the property in the village of Fort Lyden.
Moved by Jessica, second by Phil. Discussion.
Eric, we had mentioned earlier tonight where we had a time frame for somebody to tear down. They came in and got a building permit or a demolition permit. And that is a 3-year thing. We've been through this a couple of times. Is there a way to avoid that? I mean, basically, he was saying, I got a permit that says I got 3 years to tear this down.
We're gonna have to go back and look at that. I don't know if we have a local law about that, or if that is just a decision that the board has made through the codes department. So I have that on my list of things to look at, because or it could be 3 years unless the board decides otherwise, if the property has been in disrepair. We'll work out some language on that.
It seems though a demolition permit that doesn't erase our legal right to proceed with this type of action. That's just a permit for them to hire the contractors and do the work necessary to do demolition. It's like a 3-year period, that's how long your permit is, but that doesn't affect anything we're doing today. Is that correct, Joan?
Well, yeah, because we're directing an order that you better have it done by August 30th of 2023, otherwise we're stepping in.
Right.
So, but I do think that we ought to look at that 3-year period. That seems way too long to do. Let them come back and ask for an extension if they're
Yeah, they only
doing
need once 2 weeks, right?
All right, that's all I've got. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 121, and this is a resolution directing demolition, removal, and site cleanup of an unsafe building pursuant to local law number 2-2007. This is the property located in the town of Watson.
Moved by Ian, second by Lisa. Discussion.
Andrea, where is this actually?
What'd you say?
Where's this property actually?
Just past Miller Store.
Oh, okay. Before you get to the greenhouse?
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 124, this is a resolution to appropriate funds in the amount of $345,000.
Moved by Lisa, second by Josh.
I'd like to recuse myself.
Okay. Jeff would like to be recused. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That's the end of the resolutions, I believe. Other business, I'm going to ask for a motion to cancel the July committee meeting to the Lewis County Fair. Jessica will make that motion, second by Tom. Any discussion?
Is there anything impacted by doing that?
We talked about it, and I think
We're still gonna bring resolutions forward to the board. We will send them out to you by email, after we have our pre-agenda meeting. And so there will be resolutions for you to consider for the August meeting.
It should be an abbreviated slate, I mean, without the, we're not gonna take on anything meaty without having a chance to discuss it. So,
good. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. And we need a attorney-client privilege session for labor negotiation and other litigation updates. So we need a motion to go into executive session. Lisa, second by Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. All in favor? Anyone opposed? We're in executive session.